Hi guys. Okay, today I asked about the new moon in Libra, and this is what we got. We even got the moon. And there's a moon peeking here in this one. Uh, Now, what fascinates me in the bottom row is on this side we have 8 8, 8 of Cups and 8 of Pentacles, and on this side we have 2 pages. And in the middle, so the Page of Cups and Page of Wands, and in the middle is the Knight of Cups. This one again has that sweet, innocent kind of vibe, full of love. You know, it kind of reminds me of the soul itself. Now with the Libra, you know, people always think when the moon is in a specific sign, or you know, if we enter a season of a specific sign, you know, like the Libra, for example, everybody thinks, you know, oh, it's time of balance and manifestation. Yes, you know, everything is gonna fix itself, you know, everything is gonna come in balance. I don't have to do anything, you know. No. it shows the things that are out of balance inside you or in your life, and what you need to fix. So it's not just, you know, oh, it's sunshine and rainbows, I can just sit and relax, you know. No. It's gonna show you what's unbalanced inside you. And you know, depending on the individual, it's either gonna be you know, like neutral, or it's gonna be a little bit uncomfortable, or it's gonna be okay, you know. Now with these two, it kind of reminds me, you know, again, it's like a split energy, you know, like you and your DM, and then in the middle it's the soul. Again, it's very loving, it's very unconditional, it's very pure. It reminds me in the light seers, the Justice card, or if you will, the Libra card. It has 2 cups, you know, like the scales. And this one is bringing a cup. So it kind of reminds me of what I said. It's gonna bring something up that's out of balance, so you can balance it, you know. So that could be that cup, you know, bringing something up for you to balance it, you know, bring that cup, that scale from the Justice card, you know. It also tells me you shouldn't be harsh towards yourself during that time. You know, if something if some negative feelings, you know, come up, you shouldn't be harsh on yourself. Be soft and be gentle and be accepting, and take your time, you know. There's no rush. Take your time. I mean, this knight isn't galloping, you know. He stopped at the water. He's looking at the water. He's filling his cup with water, you know. He's taking his time. He's resting. He's drinking some water. His horse is drinking some water, you know. It was a long journey. So kind of what the universe is telling you, or should I say your soul, because it has that soul energy. Give yourself time and give yourself that self-love. Fill your cup, with heal the negative emotions and fill them with positive emotions. Now on your side, it looks like the self-worth might be coming up. I feel like it's something you haven't thought about in a long time, or you thought that you've let it go a long time, or that you healed from it, but during this time it might come up again, and it could be that self-worth lesson, with the Eight of Pentacles. And it's something that's been going on in a loop, because it's 8, and we know the 8 is like the infinity sign. It's something that keeps showing up with certain energies. And it might show up now because the new moon is in Libra, and Libra is always trying to balance itself. So it is something emotional, something with emotions and self-worth. Like, for example, for me it's boredom, I mean, it sounds ridiculous, but when nothing is happening in the 3D, I'm the type of person that needs something to happen, something, almost on a daily basis, some kind of fun or adventure, or whatever. Even if I'm alone, I don't have to be around people, but something happening. Like, if I fall into a routine, I get bored, and then that boredom brings up depression. Like, not a clinical depression, I don't need pills, but it's that kind of boredom, when you're just meh, you don't have the will for anything, there's no inspiration for anything, no motivation, that kind of boredom. And then that, it's like a domino effect. And then that brings me, to that self-worth, why am I bored? Why don't I have, why don't I have close friends here? Why is everybody, online and far away from me? And those kind of things, so yeah. I have to admit, I haven't felt this bored in a very long time. But it did show up again, so, just something I have to deal with. But I am aware of it, of the pattern, that loop that I mentioned, that infinity sign. So at least that's something, when you're aware of the pattern, that means you can fix it. So that kind of thing might be happening for you. It doesn't have to be boredom like for me, it could be anything with emotions and self-worth, Now on this side we have the 2 pages, and we know the pages are, like children. I mean, children. Does that remind you of somebody? Um, Now, your DM might be dealing with impulsiveness when it comes to emotions. I also feel some kind of fire, with these wands, but it's like frustration and irritation and anger. And those two are emotions, cups. Um, but that's what's happening for them. It's like those those main lessons that we needed to learn, the DF self-worth and the DM to be open with their emotions. To me it seems like that is coming up in the energies with the Libra new moon. Again, that theme with going back in time, like, oh my god. But yeah, there's lots of impulsiveness and immaturity in that on their side. And that anger can also come your way. Now, you might be feeling their anger, because you're connected, but it's also anger towards yourself because of this thing that's coming up, and you thought that you dealt with it, that you got rid of it, that you healed it, so it could be that anger and frustration towards your own self. And again, in the middle is that soul, saying, don't be harsh on yourself. This is like your soul holding space for you. It's very nurturing. It's almost like a mother, letting the child get out all of his or hers tears and anger and frustration, and when they do that, they just collapse on the on the floor, right? And then the mother comes in and hugs the child, and they cuddle and all that. They have that special moment, It's that kind of feeling, your soul, your guides, your ancestors, they're all here. They all feel you. They all know what you're going through, and it's their love and their wisdom that's surrounding you at this moment of time. Like, if you want a sci-fi kind of vision, it's almost like you're sitting on a bed of light, having all these swirls of emotions, and everything is confusing and dark and sad and whatnot, and then your ancestors and guides and all those souls that are guiding you, it's like they're forming a circle around you on that bed and just chanting like healing frequencies or whatever, it's that kind of feeling. And your own soul from the 5D is pouring so much love. um, and you might not feel it because you're in this um, this energy, you know. You could be also thinking, I did all this work and now I have to let go of everything. Like what was the point of all of this? You know, like the whole soulmate cycle, right? Um, you could be saying, you know, I have to leave, or they left, and did all this work. Like, what's the point here? You know, and that could lead you to sadness and depression and all that. But again, um, it's like telling you, stop, um, look at all those lessons that you learned that are in your cup. Um, it's almost like, imagine you wrote wrote a diary this whole time, since you know you entered the soulmate cycle. It's almost like the soul is telling you, go back and read that diary, go um, into that energy of those words, you know, and go see how much you actually learned, you know, and bring those lessons back. um, they will help you with this. Now this cup is that diary that I mentioned, you know. And even if you did keep a diary, you could go back to that diary and read it, just for, you know, if anything, just for shits and giggles. But I do think it's gonna help, you know, if you really did have a diary. I actually wrote 2 diaries. um, I stopped, you know, after a year, maybe year and a half. So I might check my diary. I haven't read my diaries since I wrote them. So yeah. Now for them, it's also all these swirls of emotions coming up for them as well. Now for you, it's more like a melancholy type of energy, you know, and for them it's more like yelling so they don't have to hear their emotions, you know. That's where the anger comes from. You're just sitting there and feeling it, and there's that uh, melancholy, you know, and they're still trying to not hear it, you know. I do feel like some old memories um, with you uh, could be brought up, and it's gonna make them feel guilty that they didn't um, do it differently or didn't react differently, you know. Or they could be even feeling your pain in that memory, you know, like being in your shoes, and they won't like it. I felt that with my person like a couple of times, maybe 3, 4 times. So I do know it's possible. It's either them reliving the memories, and then it's almost like the universe putting them in your shoes, and then they're gonna feel your pain that they caused. Or it could be something in the 3D. It's gonna be a similar situation that they did to you, and then they're gonna experience it, just like you did. Like, for example, if they ghosted you after I don't know, after a night of sleeping with you or whatever, and then the next morning they ghosted you and haven't replied to any text, haven't called, nothing, for a month or whatever. I mean, that would cause a lot of pain for you. Now something similar could happen with them, even if it's not love related. Could be job related or whatever. Could be they sign a deal, and then that person ghosted them and left them with holes to fill, and now they feel the pain, from that ghosting. So it could be physical, like I said, in the 3D, or it could be just reliving the memories and then being put in your shoes and feeling your pain. And that's where the guilt comes from, and the anger comes from, them not wanting to hear it or feel it. Because if they feel guilty, that means they did something wrong, and God forbid, they admit to something wrong. It's that kind of feeling they always have to be right, in a sense. So that's where the anger comes from. They don't like that feeling of being guilty. It's not something they are used to dealing with. Either they were let go easily, by other people in the past, or they just dismissed it, put it under the carpet, just like with you, but because of your connection, it's everything is different, everything is amplified, so they can't escape that guilt. They can't put it under the carpet. And we will have that anger and impulsiveness here. This would represent the third energy. That would be for you, that melancholy and sadness, and what's the point, and all that, that toxic negative string, that devilish string. That would be the third party. And for them it's also, that devil energy. What I mentioned here, It could be also them juggling two things, like you and the family life, whether it's literally family or spouse or partner. There is some kind of third energy that kind of comes and goes, it's very erratic. Now these two, what I said here with your lessons, go back and look how much you grown and how much it actually changed you and them and your life and their life, well, it's more to look on your side, you don't have to worry about their side. Even if nothing is happening in the 3D, then you're wondering, what's the point? I did all this work, blah blah blah. Again, this is telling me, go back and see how much you actually changed, even if it's not the 3D that you wanted. You did grow and you did change on the inside, and everything starts from the inside. So again, it's all about growth, in this new moon. And you might find something out that you didn't know with the moon here. Something when it comes to your growth and this part, this self-worth and emotions, when you go back and reflect, you're gonna find something, it's almost like a puzzle piece or like a hidden gem. Even if it's a small information that you find out, it is gonna complete a bigger picture, like a domino effect. Like I said here with the diary, this is also about reflecting and going back. Almost like taking your old school books, and just going through them, and then remembering some parts of the lesson. It's that kind of thing. Whatever comes up here for you, you need to go back and see how you dealt with this specific situation in the past, because it's not anything new, it's something that was always in that loop. It was always something that would go away and then come back, go away and come back. But because you're so much different now than you were back then when you had this issue, it feels kind of different, it has a slightly different taste, if you will. So go back, look at the time when you last felt like this or had this issue. And just think how you dealt with that, and how it played out, how it disappeared, if you will. Notice the patterns, imply the lessons that you learned between that time and now. Because there is something hidden, there is something hidden in that past, some kind of clue. And you're gonna have to be like a little Sherlock Holmesy with it, you know. That's why here it says to take your time. Take your time to rest, you know, to give yourself that self-love again. I mean, it's always the same, it's always kind of the same answer, you know, whenever we have some kind of trouble in the air, the answer is always love, it's always cups, you know. So don't be hard on yourself. Give yourself a love and some cuddle, you know. Give yourself a hug. It is a very confusing time, you know, not just with the new moon in Libra, it's all the previous energies and the coming energies, you know, it's just a whole confusion. Very confusing, and it might get you in your head, you know, in the Nine of Swords. Especially with Libra, it's an air sign, you know, swords. It could lead you, you know, to overthinking, and if you're already in that negative state, you know, the overthinking won't help. It's just gonna fuel that devilish energy, you know. So be mindful of that. When you feel like you're overthinking, just stop, like this night. Just stop and be mindful of it. And try to course correct, if you will. Okay. Which cards should I use? Okay, let's use these. Tell me about the Three of Cups. I do feel like some of your DMs might be um, might be indulging in alcohol and maybe partying, you know, just to drown whatever they're feeling here, you know. Hanged Man. Yep. The universe is putting you both in the Hanged Man to look at this issue from a new perspective. That third energy, you know. Oh my god, what did I say? What did I say? I'm gonna be like Steve, rewind. I mentioned the devil energy in this Three of Cups. Oh my god. Nine of Wands and Two of Wands. Wow. I amaze myself sometimes. Okay. So this could represent, you know, both of you. This is you, this is your DM. Both of you have this this toxic energy, you know, entering. Now I don't feel it a big issue on your side, because you are more aware of your own patterns and thinking, and you know, you are watching tarot. They're not, so for them it's an adult goat, for you it's a baby goat, you know, depending how much you get in your head, you know. So don't feed the little goat, don't nurture it to an adult goat, you know. I would say with the Nine of Wands, it was always hidden, it was always in the shadows, you know, this issue that's being brought up for both of you. It was always lurking in the shadows, you know. Whenever you would feel a little bit low, this thing would come up. For both of you. Whenever you would feel low energetically, low vibration, you know, this thing would be lurking in the shadows. And now it's just kind of being amplified, you know. It's almost like it was always lurking behind the wall, but now the wall is being taken care of, you know. It's almost like it's becoming transparent, you know. Like I'm focused on the white parts, you know, between these logs. So now it's kind of becoming transparent, you know, more visible during the new moon in Libra. And because it's more visible, that's why you're gonna catch that clue or pattern, and that would be the new perspective, you know. Man, everything is connected. Yeah, and again, that clue, again, it's gonna make you it's gonna make you transform yet again. It's also telling me it's being brought up so you can transform this little devil again from a new perspective, with this new lessons that you learned. And again, it's hitting both of you, you know, the Tower and the Lovers. It's hitting both of you, and it's hitting the connection, you know. And this is that confusion. This is that confusion that I mentioned. It's almost like it's all being blasted out. It's like that demolition crew that blasts the building, you know. And when you blast the building, it all goes, you know, the furniture inside the building, the wires, the papers, the samplers, the toilet, you know, kitchen sink, everything blows up all at once, you know. And that's exactly what I'm feeling here. This thing, these issues on both sides, it's coming up pretty pretty unexpected, if you will, pretty abrupt, pretty fast, you know. Also goes with this wall that I mentioned. It's gonna be blasted, you know. So you're gonna be able to see the devil more brightly, you know. Okay, tell me about the Page of Pentacles. This one also has a calm energy like this one. But this is more 3D and this is more soul. It's almost like your soul is giving you a sedative. And this is you being calm, you know, and just reflecting, you know, why did this issue come up again? And don't try not to connect this issue with your DM, you know, especially if you're thinking, what was the point of all this journey, if we are separated, if this is the end, blah blah blah, you know. Try not to tie it to your DM. That's what I'm hearing here. Try to look at it as something that's within you, that has nothing to do with your DM. Just like my example, you know, the boredom. It was always there, even before I met my DM, you know. It's just something that I was always dealing with, you know. Every time I would fall into a routine, you know, I would just have to do something, you know, to break that pattern of the routine. So this thing that's coming up for you, try not to tie it with your DM, because you're already feeling a little bit irritated, you know, towards yourself and all that. If you put your DM's face on it, like they are the cause of your problem, you might get even more angry, you know, and then you're gonna send your anger towards them, you know, because you're connected and they're already feeling the anger, you know. And then you sending your anger, it's just gonna amplify things, you know, and everything's gonna go to shit. So try not to do that. Don't, whenever, and I'm saying this in general, you know, not just with your DM. Whenever you have an issue, when some person triggers something in you, it's never about that person. It's something that's within you. They're just mirroring you. Okay, every person is just a reflection of you. So try not to put their face onto the issue that's being brought up. Three of Pentacles. Again, it's telling me, you got this. You've been building up yourself to this point, so you can easily overcome any obstacles that show up. Again, just reflect on that growth. Okay, and there's that calming energy that I mentioned with this one. Six of Swords, Strength, and the Moon again. It's almost like it's telling me try to find peace in the darkness. Make peace with your demons. Because a lot of you might be harsh towards yourself and maybe angry towards yourself, with these two. Some of you might be thinking, I wasted all this time and nothing is happening with my DM. So it's telling you to make peace with your demons, with the negative side of you. Whatever you thought you lost, make peace with it. It's almost like telling you there's no point in crying over spilled milk. But it's also telling me that you don't know what you don't know. So if you're, for example, mad that you never got a closure with your DM, or nothing happened, or whatever, and then that little devil shows up, because you're negative and all that, it's telling me you don't know what you don't know. You don't know why that needed to happen. It's almost like universe saying you don't know why that happened, and you don't need to know why that happened. I don't need to tell you all the details. It's not my job to tell you all the details. It's your job to have faith and let it go. It almost got like a scolding session. You don't need to know all the details. Let it go and find the strength. Find that strength and confidence in your lessons that you went through. You need to remind yourself that you are strong enough to overcome whatever this is. And whatever this is, I should say. And again, see, there's that loop. that I mentioned, that infinity sign. 8, 8. Oh my god. See? Everything's connected. So you built this strength, and the universe is saying don't lose it. Don't lose it now just because this thing is coming up again, you know, this issue, this little devil. The universe wants you to have faith in yourself, in your abilities to overcome obstacles, and to have faith in your own growth. It's like I'm not telling you my plans, I'm not telling you my details. You don't need to know. What I need from you is having faith. The universe here is like a like a like a tough parent, you know. Tough love. It's funny. Okay. Three of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles, Three of Swords, Five of Pentacles, and Four of Cups. So many pentacles. Yeah, again, that self-worth that I said. It's also being brought here in the Three of Swords. And it's like that Three of Swords is bleeding all over the rest of the cards. You've been here before, you know. You felt worthless, you felt abandoned, you felt like out in the cold, and then your DM did the same thing, you know. Everything was slow. But again, it's telling me, you know, don't let the fears, and it's connected with this devil, don't let it mess up all your growth that you did. Don't forget all your lessons just because this little dude showed up. It's almost like don't abandon your lessons, your growth, you know. Because if you don't, this card is like a standalone from these. If you continue to grow from this, all of these cards go reversed. Everything starts moving, the pain is healed, the pain is gone, you're in from the cold, and there's no regrets, there's no sadness, you know. There's no abandonment. And when I say abandonment, it's more like if you continue to grow, you're not abandoning your own soul, you know. Because if you quit, it's almost like, you know, It's almost like abandoning your own soul, if you quit now. Now, when it comes to your person, it's they too need to reflect, but for them it's very choppy. It's just like this wave, it's very tsunami like. But they also have the means, to fix it with this strength card. And they probably don't know why they are being hit by choppy waters and a tsunami, Okay. Tell me about the moon. And again, the moon always shines. Shines what we don't see, just like this woman on the card with the fire, the torch. Seven of Cups. There's that confusion again. Page of Wands. Okay. Anyway, Tower, Empress, and the Three of Pentacles. It's something that's gonna shake you from the core. Something that's rooted deep inside. With this moon, but it is bringing lots of abundance with it. Just like that demolition crew, demolishing the building. It is messy, but once they clean up the debris, they're gonna make a beautiful Zen garden with a glowing tree in the middle. It's gonna be more beautiful than that previous building that was there. So it's that kind of thing. It could be it could be confusing, it could be messy, it could be painful and all that, but at the end you do get a glowing tree, so it's worth it. Any kind of growth is worth your time. Even this cycle, it was all about growth. So if you're thinking, I wasted my time with this person, with this cycle, no, you didn't. Stop putting their face on it. If you were sitting and waiting for this person, then yeah, you might have wasted time. But the cycle itself, that it brought you, what it brought you, wasn't a waste of time. If you learned anything from the cycle, it wasn't a waste of time. Every time you learn something and you grow, it's not a waste of time. Now your person was feeling this, started feeling this from some time ago, for some time ago, but I feel like this might be something that's being brought up now for you with this moon in Libra. For them it's more like enhancing, and for you it's kind of like being brought now. There's also when it comes to your person, when it comes to you, something that they either something they built inside themselves, like an image of you, or maybe something they built something in the 3D. Like if you had something, or like a means of communication, that's gonna be, I feel like that's gonna be torn down, and not like in a negative sense. It's more like they built something when it comes to you, that was either built on sand or wrong image or whatever, there's something wrong, and that's why it needs to be demolished. It's almost like building a house, but it doesn't make sense. It's like there's no doors, like they forgot to build a door, and the staircase is going from the first floor up. There's no staircase in the ground floor. Again, it's like they forgot. It's only half a roof instead of full roof. It's all it's all crooked, the whole house. So it needs to be demolished because they built something with you in a wrong manner. So if there wasn't a communication, that would imply with the moon. If there was complete silence, then they built an image of you based from whatever they saw in the 3D, or whatever they heard from other people, or just based on their own feelings that were based on their own fears, and insecurities and all that. So they created some kind of wrong image in their head when it comes to you. So that needs to go, or if they were stalling, if you had some kind of communication, like some kind of means of communicating. For example, if they are married and they downloaded an app for texting, and they made you download that app, and it's the only app they use with you. They don't talk to anybody on that app, just with you. So it, again, hidden hidden way of communicating. So that would also be wrong, you know. So that could be also, you know, demolished. Now what that means in the 3D, how that's gonna play out, I don't know. All I know, it needs to go bye-bye. Or just their, you know, their means of poor communication or whatever, you know. Whatever you built with this person, it needs to go. It's built on sand, you know. It's not stable, it's not a concrete, you know, foundation. So it needs to go bye-bye. So that's why you might feel like something is, you know, changing, or you can't get a hold of them, or they can't get a hold of you, or, you know, it's almost like there is something that you can't pinpoint, some kind of change, but this is that change, you know. This wobbly foundation needs to go. You know, just like with a building, when you demolish a building, you need to clear out everything, all the people, you know. So if you are in a separation, it's kind of like that, you know. The universe is clearing everybody so we can demolish this wobbly foundation, you know. Okay. 7 of Cups, Lovers, 6 of Wands, High Priestess, and the 10 of Wands. Yeah, this confusion, this you don't know what you don't know, you know, this lack of information, if you will, it's bringing confusion, and that confusion is bringing lots of burdens. But it's bringing burdens only because you're focusing on it, on the confusion. Again, it's this thing that the universe is saying, you know, I don't need to tell you my plans and my details. All I need from you is faith. I mean, these are connected, you know, the moon. So this moon brings me back here, and, you know, vice versa. So that's the thing with the confusion. It's bringing burdens only because you're focusing on the wrong thing, you know. Now lots of changes in the connection itself. With the High Priestess, I see like the universe, you know, bringing bringing changes inside the connection, and then from that connection it goes to your 3D selves, but it goes through your soul, you know, through the High Priestess. So so that's what's happening. It's that internal change, that internal feeling of a change. that's happening, but it's very, very transformative. Um, and I'm sure in the coming months, we will see it in the 3D as well. But for now, it's only internal change. I mean, the physical change would be, the separation and all that. If you are in separation, but it's only needed so that this internal change can happen. So because of that, I still believe that it's still happening internally, not outside in the physical yet, but it will. Yep. It just needs to happen, because of this flimsy foundation. Could be also for some of you, it could be something inside you that's a little bit wobbly. Could be this self-worth issue, or just a lack of faith or something. It's almost like some of you built your self-worth based on your DM, on top of your DM or whatever. And the universe is saying that's wrong, that's flimsy, it's not gonna hold long term. Something with self-worth, it's almost like some of you are saying, if I'm with my DM, then that will show that I managed to get my self-worth or something in those terms. It's almost like, if I grow, if I find self-worth, if I listen to all the advice from all the tarot readers on YouTube, then I'm gonna end up with my DM, and that's gonna be, that's gonna prove me and my growth. So by that, you're building your self-worth based on your DM, and the universe is saying, no, that's wrong, that's flimsy, it's not gonna hold up long term. You need to find self-worth because of yourself, because of your own life, because of your own growth. You don't need to prove anything to anybody, not to your DM, not to any tarot reader, you know. You need to build a foundation that's yours, that's only for you. It's almost like you built like a house, and you did all the work, and then you're gonna give the key of the house to your DM. You know, like it's like your whole intention of building a house was to give the key to your DM, but the universe is saying no, you're building a house for yourself. You need a house for yourself, and you need to keep the key, not give it away, you know. So for some of you, it's you based some kind of foundation, you know, flimsy. The universe is saying we need to fix that. Now you need to apply it for your situation, you know, if it resonates. But that's what I'm getting. It's like some of you did this whole thing, these whole lessons for the wrong person, you know. You needed to do this whole journey for yourself, not for anybody else. When it comes to them, you were just a tool, you were just a mirror, just like they are and were for you. They needed to change their life, not because of you, but because of them. Because they were and are in a toxic relationship or in a toxic mindset, toxic family, you know. They needed to change that for themselves, for their own soul. That's why you showed up, and vice versa. That's why for some of you, your foundation is kind of flimsy, you know. Because you did it for the wrong reasons. Anyway, tell me about the Knight of Wands. Five of Pentacles. Deep, deep sadness. Deep, deep sadness coming out is anger. Queen of Swords, the Fool, and the King of Pentacles. Lots of fire with this Knight of Wands. and he is an impulsive knight. But because your person always tried to hide this impulsiveness, uh, they've put a wall, and they went cold um, towards you. Because of this fear, um, I feel like they wanted, when you had a soul recognition, they wanted the same thing as you, but you were willing from the beginning, and it reminded them from something in their past, so they were like, nope, I'm not going that road again, my impulsiveness cost me the last time, so I'm just gonna shut down and become cold, just hide that fire. um, Towards you. um, this also tells me, when it comes to their marriage, because the Knight of Pentacles represents something long term, it's very cold, and they fight a lot, which is not surprising. It's nothing new, um, I feel like when they fight, one of them just storms outside. um, it could be just, literally goes outside, takes a walk or drives or whatever, um, or it could be, um, um, just running off to distract themselves with something, like, for example, going into the garage and working on the car or whatever, um, or going in their man cave and play video games or whatever, it's still immature, um, they don't know how to talk. Now the other spouse could be just indifferent, very cold, very doesn't give a fuck, and that could blast the fire in your person even more because they get triggered by that, um, it's that thing, uh, can you just react to this? Can you just throw a plate or whatever? Can you just yell? Instead they just and then that fires up their fire even more. hmm. So that anger that's coming up with you could be reflected in their marriage as well. So they could be fighting even more during this time. You might be feeling a cold shoulder from your person, even though there's lots of fire in them, even if it's anger, you still could be feeling a cold shoulder, and it is bookending the devil, so it's all because of this devil. And again, flimsy foundation, coming to you only when it's convenient for them, you can't build a foundation on that. Either you're in or you're out. There needs to be a new start. New fresh start. I mean, this also could be them literally being a fool, with this kind of behavior, being cold and acting like a fool, and you're just here being awesome, and being confused why are they like that when I'm this awesome. It's only because they feel small next to you. I mean, they did show up as 2 pages, They feel small next to you, so they need to compensate with something, Become unapproachable so you can chase them, So that would give importance, to their appearance, life, whatever, Because the King of Pentacles doesn't chase. So in their mind, if the King of Pentacles chases them, they're technically not a page or a kid or a fool or whatever, Okay, 5 of Pentacles, 10 of Swords, 3 of Cups, 8 of Swords, 7 of Swords. Oh my god, so many swords. Well, with these two, yeah, you could have been left out in the cold because of their sneaky behavior. But it also tells me if you still feel like you're out in the cold, it's just an illusion. Like I said here with these 2 cards, with the 8 of Pentacles and 8 of Cups, if you're still, thinking, what's the point if I'm not with them, blah blah blah, what's the point of this whole journey, and the universe saying you don't know what you don't know, you don't know my plan, and you don't need to know, everything happens for a reason. I mean, we did see the Six of Wands, that victory and transformation, a few times, and we did say that you were getting, instead of the building, a nice glowing tree. So the universe is doing all this so you can have a better life, so you can have blessings and all that, so if you think that you're out in the cold, it's all an illusion, because the universe is doing all this so you can have a better life. in short. um, yeah, with this fool, there's not a nice flow of energy. I mean, these three birds are in a sandwich, between oh my god it's dead and oh my god I'm trapped. you know it's literally a cage. you know Basically, they never they never opened up because they left in the cold. They never opened up because they feel trapped, and they kind of feel dead inside, but it's also um, them going back and forth. Is this worth it? Is this dead? And then going back to their dead marriage or whatever. Something that's dead is keeping them trapped from opening up. Something that's long gone. It's like they have a corpse tied to their legs, and they keep dragging it instead of cutting it off and going their way. It really has that dragging energy with these two. That's why they always behaved like a fool and kept you out in the cold and all that. There is also kind of a rushy energy, so they might come in rushing. It's almost like imagine you're here and they're here on the horse and they're all pumped up, all fiery, right? And they keep going with that fire. They fire, they come to you, and all of a sudden they put up this front, the Queen of Swords, poker face, I feel nothing. And they come to you. The moment they see you, they become the Queen of Swords. So they have that fire, they have that intention, but as soon as they come up to your face, it's a complete shutdown. It also tells me if they show up with this devil and they want to repeat the patterns, going back and forth, coming in, coming out, it's telling me you need to cut that behavior, like, straight away. Because you're on this new journey, and it's almost like telling me don't let them drag you down with this Five of Pentacles. Don't let them drag you down with them. It's almost like they're in a quicksand, and if you jump into the quicksand to help them, you're gonna sink with them as well. So make sure they come in right. Otherwise, just kick them out. And some of them could come in right, you know, after all these energies settle, but it is bookending the devil, so most of them probably won't, you know, not gonna lie. So yeah, there you go. That's your reading. That's your new moon in Libra. So just take care of yourself, this issue that's gonna be brought up. And again, don't put their face on it. Don't send even more anger their way, you know. You might be already feeling their anger, you know, so don't pump yourself up and don't pump them up, you know, even more. Just take care of your little baby goat. There you go. That's your reading. Hope it helps. Subscribe, share, like, comment, and there's a PayPal link if you want to support my channel in the description box. And that's it. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.